Prayer is honestly just wishful thinking or positive thinking. Before I get into what I mean by that, I just want to say that I used to be a Christian. I claimed the Christian beliefs for a long time, like pretty much my entire life up until a few years ago. And I started deconstructing Christianity, and now honestly, I lean more towards atheism. But I think it's really interesting to talk about the ways that I've changed and why I don't believe in Christianity anymore. So I'm going to be starting with the topic of prayer, but I also want to make more videos about the whole deconstruction process in the near future. So let's get into prayer specifically and why I think that prayer honestly just doesn't work. So people use prayer to basically clear their head, right? When something's bothering them or when they're going through something difficult, they pray to like get it off their chest, to feel lighter, to get some kind of closure on the matter. And this same thing can be achieved by talking to a friend or journaling or meditation. You can get to the same end goal of getting it off your chest and feeling lighter. You don't specifically need prayer to fix that problem. I think a lot of Christians, at least like in my experience, like the ones that I've been around, think that there's no other way to feel better than to pray about something. But honestly, praying about something, in my opinion, is the same thing as talking out loud about something. Like, you know how sometimes when you just talk about your problems out loud, you come to your own solution or you feel better? It's the same thing as talking to yourself, journaling, or talking to a friend. The difference would be that talking to a friend is talking to someone that's like giving you feedback, giving you advice, actively listening to you. So I would say that's much better than praying, honestly, because somebody's actually there with you and responding. But if you want to just get it out and not have someone respond, which is what praying is, I would say journaling gives you the exact same result. Another reason why I think prayer doesn't work is because when we pray, a lot of times we're praying asking for help with something. So an example I would use is, let's say that I applied for a job and I really want to get the job. I might pray like, dear God, please help me get this job. You know I need the money. You know I really want this job, right? But if I don't get selected for that job, it's because of my work history, it's because of my resume, it's because of how well I did in the interview. If the company already had someone else lined up for that position, it has nothing to do with the prayer that I prayed. Praying in and of itself isn't helping us get anything without us doing the work or other people helping us. So let me use the example of, let's say that I need groceries, right? I can't afford food for myself or for my family. Let's say that I have kids to feed and I pray like, God, I need money, I need food. And then I talk to my friend on the phone and I'm like, hey, Becky, you know, I've been praying, like we can't afford groceries, I need to feed my family. And then let's say that Becky goes to the store and gets me groceries and comes over and it like fills up my fridge, right? God did not help me, Becky did. And then I could say like, oh, thank God, God answered my prayer. But actually, if I never told Becky that I needed groceries, and if Becky didn't have the money to help me buy the groceries, I wouldn't get them. You see what I'm saying? People need to help other people, and we need to help ourselves. Otherwise, the prayer is not going to be answered. God's not actually answering the prayer. We are answering the prayers, or other people are answering our prayers. Going back really quickly to the example I used of like interviewing for a job and then praying to God that you get it. If I don't have a degree, let's say I don't have a degree that's absolutely required to get that job, I'm not going to get it. God can't make me get something that I'm not actually qualified for. God can't drop paperwork from the sky and be like, here's a bachelor's degree that you need for this job. I have to go to college, I have to get the degree, I have to do well in the interview in order to get the job. Another thing that people pray for all the time is like their physical safety, right? So like if I'm going on a road trip, somebody might be like, I'll pray you have a safe trip, but that doesn't actually help me have a safe trip. The people driving the cars around me, the weather, me driving my car, those things are going to affect my safety on the road. God is not helping me stay safe. Somebody praying for me is not helping me stay safe. If somebody around me falls asleep at the wheel and crashes into me, it's because they fell asleep. Or if I'm on my phone changing the music on my Spotify and then I crash into a stop sign, I was distracted. That was not God not protecting me. If the weather's really bad and it's raining so much and my car slides off the road, hydroplanes and slides off the road, that's not God not answering someone's prayer for safety. That's just shitty weather conditions. There's all these like human factors that come into play. The prayer cannot help you. The circumstances and yourself and the people around you are what drives what's going to happen. Something else I see in Christianity a lot is that prayer is stopping people from actually getting help and getting out of bad situations. So let's use a very serious topic really quickly. So somebody who's in an abusive relationship. So let's say that I tell someone else who's a Christian, I'm in a really abusive relationship with my partner. That person is going to tell me to pray about it. They're not going to tell me to go to therapy. They're not going to tell me that I can come live with them or I'll be safe. They're not going to help me get to maybe like a woman's shelter, right? They're not going to give me information on the behaviors that are going on so I can understand maybe someone's manipulating me or emotionally abusing me, right? They're not going to actually help me get to a better situation or understand the harm that I'm going through. They're just going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that. I'll pray for you. I'll pray for them. And then the abuse is going to continue happening. There's a lot of layers to that. I don't want to go on and on with that example, but obviously, in at least my experience in Christianity, people don't believe in divorce. They also think that like men are superior, and so if a man is harming a woman, they also normalize that. Or if a man was abusing children in the relationship, like his own kids, they also normalize that as well. So they're just gonna be like, pray for them, pray for the kids, and honestly, that's it. There's also a second really tragic thing that happens a lot of times in Christianity where a lot of people don't get medical help for them or for their kids because they think that praying about their situation is going to cure their illness. And it could be like something super serious that they die from, but they don't trust doctors, they don't trust hospitals, they don't trust medicine. And so they just stay home and they pray that God will cure this medical issue, and then again, somebody ends up dying or their condition just keeps getting worse and worse. Nobody's offering you real help. Nobody's trying to fix the problem. They're just like praying for you, which is like talking into thin air. Like, I told my teddy bear about your problem. So without giving away too much information, someone that I know in real life had a kid who ever since they were born had really, really tragic, horrible medical issues. Like, we're talking like they were in the hospital, probably in the hospital now more than they are at home. Like, this person just is really, really going through it with their kid, and the kid has almost passed away multiple times. And I get updates from this person and how their kid is doing on Facebook. And the comments are just filled with people saying, praying for you, prayers, sending prayers. Like, when you scroll through the comments, that is honestly all it is. Nobody's validating how terrifying this situation, how life-threatening and hard to deal with as a parent and for the kid to go through. Nobody's addressing that. And it just really bothered me. I think, like, again, people are like scared to really face the issue. Like, if I just tell you that I'm praying for you, it makes me feel good and it makes you feel good, and it's just a very like gentle, positive thing to say. But if I were to respond and be like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry, he's back in the hospital again, I can't even imagine how exhausted you are. Is it okay if I come over and clean the house for you on Thursday? Is it okay if I bring you guys some food this week? You know, like, if I addressed how hard the situation really was and then like offered to help, at least in my opinion, I would so much rather have that than people just be like praying, like they could honestly care less. Something that happened when I was a kid was that my mom would always complain about her financial situation to one of her friends. And one of her friends, who was From what I can remember, at least as a kid, pretty well off. She would give my mom, she would give my mom money all the time, constantly. So my mom would talk to her about their financial situation, about how worried she was, about how bad off we were. And my friend, or my mom's friend, would send my mom like a check for like $500 or something. And this is again what I mean. Like, if my mom is just like, I'm praying for money, I'm praying that I'll be able to buy groceries this week to feed my kids, nothing would ever happen. My mom had to tell her friend, I need money, and then her friend sent her money. If she just prayed for money, God can't drop money out of the sky for you. I also think that praying for people is like an ego boost, right? Like, we feel like we're helping. We feel like we're getting involved in a situation that we have no control over. So let's say that I see somebody on Facebook, they're like, oh, I broke my leg, I'm out of work, like this sucks. And then I'm like, praying for you, which would just make me feel good and make me appear like I'm like this caring person doing all I can. But I could have just validated your shitty experience, and that would have made you feel so much better. If you take prayer out of the equation, what you have left is people helping other people. And honestly, isn't that so much more beautiful than people just praying for you and not doing anything? There's a lot that people can do for each other, and there's a lot that we can do for ourselves. And that's kind of the whole point that I wanted to make. Like, now that I'm ending this video, that's the whole point that I came to with why prayer doesn't work. Because prayer never works unless we actually take action to fix our own problems, or if other people around us help us. Anyway, please let me know in the comments below if you have any thoughts on this topic, and like the video if you liked it, and thank you for watching.